you been doing, Sable? Things are rough on your side. How are things for you, Sable?
Yeah. Well, better now that I've gotten into my new house.
Oh, neat.
We bought a house. I don't know if you heard.
I do know that's why
Yeah,
I asked.
okay.
Because I heard that it's been rough with all the movings and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for letting us know the mics are hot. It's fine. We're just kind of waiting a couple moments for people to gather and hanging out.
Uh,
Yeah, Chris knew that we'd be audible as soon as we went live, so it's all good. How's everyone else? I hope everyone is having a good weekend. Oh no. Oh no, Melody. Hello, Eli. Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome. And hello, Raiders.
welcome, Raiders.
This is totally going to be silly fun times today.
Oh, that's a cute layout. I just saw it. Oh, that's so cute.
I was like, Easter theme, house lapping. There we go. But you see House Avis, right? We got all the eggs and things happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, Emily. Emily says, yay, looking forward to some silly fun. Yes, silly fun is good. I need silly fun today, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I need something fun as well. I just finished watching that space movie and it gives me nightmares.
Oh, yuck.
I just finished watching that with my friends and I'm just, oh shit, I need something lighthearted.
You know, the problem with my player for music is that I don't have enough silly stuff. This is like kind of haunting weird stuff because I'm like, I don't know, background music, right? And so at some point, Lappin and Avis had an alliance and hated each other after it. I don't know that we hated each other.
What?
What?
No. Who said that? Come
There's
on.
no, we had like, a natural rivalry going on during the first game of Tomes, but you know,
See,
that's different.
active. We're not like actively trying to at each other's throats.
That's right. Moon, that is a good question. Moon asks how to write a procedure article. Do I just go over what I do or do I tell other people what I do? You know what? Let's turn off this silly music, which is hardly appropriate for what we're doing today. Let's just go right into it, shall we?
It's a go.
It's a go. Yay. Well, we're totally here for silly fun anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Very informal. There is a sprint timer. We will be doing some writing, I'm sure, because that's what we do. And, lore-wise, we hated each other. That's when. I don't remember this. I remember that there was, I mean, like everybody was kind of fighting during the first game of Tomes, but I don't know if that was, the first word war. Easter copyright free Easter music. Oh, but hun, it's a YouTube link. And the problem is, if I run any other video while I'm trying to do a stream, it does not happen. It does not work. So I just cannot make it do it. I'm going to. Wait a minute here. Okay. We're going to capture my Chrome. Because we're going to put like writing stuff up on the screen anyway. I figured I would write an article on Avisalia today because Chris and I were brainstorming ideas last night because this is how organized we are.
Yep.
The birds are the cat's enemies. It's the cat arc. To which, of course, Chris replies, the cat started first. Yep. Oh no.
Misa, what did I say? Don't break your hands.
Yeah, I broke my hand trying to catch up to the bird, and the burbs increased word count too. Yeah, but you know what? Chris also broke their hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You broke my hand. Tried to catch up to the bats the first time.
Carpal tunnel, as I recall, was the diagnosis. That's what not to do, gang.
Mm-hmm.
We need to know more about Avisalia so we can make today's meme. Okay. We can do that. Apparently my cat is killing something outside my door, so if you hear weird crashes, pay it no mind. Um, okay, here.
No, Eli.
Yeah, Eli also broke their hand, so...
Oof. Yeah, they did say that they're using text speech to text because of that.
Alright, so... Let's see. In ancient times... This is not the first time that the undead horde or the forces of darkness have appeared in the world. It's just that the rest of the world has kind of forgotten about it. But the Litromantic houses remember. I'm sure House Sauropoda knows all about it in vivid detail since they've been around for quite some time. And hello to the King Lizard. Good to see you, Bob. So, at one point there was a winter that lasted for years. And years and years, and eventually it was determined that it was the power of the undead horde that was causing this problem. So, House Avis and House Lapin made an alliance and decided that they were going to go and fight the undead horde for control of the sun. And this may be where you've heard some, rabbit trickster legends about, associations with the moon and stuff like that, and legends of ravens stealing or trying to steal the sun and whatnot. It's misrememberings of what happened, but in the end, because of their alliance, Avis and Lapin were successful. So the winter ended and spring arrived, and the world now remembers this as Easter. It was remembered in different ways in different times. There were fertility goddesses that had eggs and rabbits as symbols, and they too were remembrances of this event, like Wester and Astarte and Ishtar and Inanna. And these memories carried somewhat into the contemporary view, but of course, as litromancy fell out of favor and the age of litromancy passed, much of the original details were lost. So people grafted their own legends onto things. Now, I don't know if Chris wants to take it from there, but there have been modern traditions added that were, they came from a darker history, as it were.
Mm-hmm. I can vouch for that. So the darker tradition of this celebration is, well, we all know that the rabbits and birds alike, especially our cousins, the chickens, are all hunted by predators or people alike. So when this happened, we as the leaders need to come up with something to combat this problem, and that something is a little bit sweeter on the side, and that's where the chocolates came from as a replacement for our bunnies and also our fellow burbs.
Exactly. There was an ancient thought that, since the bunnies and burbs together had managed to defeat darkness and bring spring, that people would take on some of the totemic powers of the burbs and bunnies by eating our relatives, and we can't have that. So we diverted them by making it all about the chocolate instead. Ooh, yes, the big rock. The RPG Dinosaur Bob, the King Lizard, says, I love that as an Easter tale, but Sauropoda remembers another long winter, much earlier than this one. Did the undead horde arrive with the big rock?
Oh,
Good question. Perhaps that was their first appearance. You guys would know better than we would, actually, since you were around longer than we were. Yes, that's right, Melody. A propaganda victory. Wait, so eat chocolate, not bunnies and birds? 10 out of 10 propaganda. Thank you. Our ancestors were rather clever, I think.
hmm. I mean, we have to help to save our future generations. We can't let them hunt us down.
Fair enough, fair enough. Oh, what an excellent explanation. That makes perfect sense, actually, Bob. We do insist, he says, that the Iron Tome itself was crafted from the metal harvested from the big rock. Well, we're pretty sure, we believe, that the pages came from the tree. They were leaves of the tree, but we had no idea where the cover had come from. That makes perfect sense. Sable, can we please make this canon? Yeah. Yes, we can.
I mean, why not?
Time to open my beaming mainframe. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I imagine that probably was the first time they appeared because the ages long winter began at that point. And, at the time, House Sauropoda would have been the only littermancers around. So clearly it was designed to wipe out the littermancers that could stop the undead horde. That makes sense to me. Fist bumps, meteorite iron, yes. James says, question, which part of the chocolate rabbit should I eat first?
Oh no.
Whichever part you prefer. I like to think that our primary power is in our brains, so you might want to start with our head rather than our ass. But by all means, go ahead and enjoy your chocolate. Ah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense, Bob. We learned litromancy to defend ourselves. Makes perfect sense. And it taught it to each and every living creature that was also threatened by the horde. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. And thank you.
Oh, I like
Thank you.
that.
Thank your ancestors for, I thank your ancestors for that. And you as well. I don't know how long you yourself have been around, Bob. I get a feeling it's been a while. Probably a lot longer than me. That's wonderful. See, so secrets of the ancient history of litromancy makes perfect sense. So I was hanging around the edges of the swamp, and I happened to notice, Chris, some of your people enjoying Avisalia festivities. So I thought, well, actually, Pride noticed it and got a video clip, and I thought perhaps I would share that.
Oh, wait, since when Pride was there?
Oh well, he's a sneaky bunny, he is. But no, he was honestly just coming to see if you were going to make it to the celebration today. He had no ill intent or anything like that. But he saw this.
Give up their time for themselves.
Oop, wrong thing. I didn't want to be on
And they
camera today. Buddy dodos. Actually, I forgot that I didn't install the mics or the main audio there for that, so they didn't hear you. Chris said, thank you for not disturbing their favorite dodo couple there. They appreciate that. But, yep, there we go. Yes, buddy dodos. Is this my GoPro? I don't think so. But I did hear a rumor that there may have been a dragon spotted with a GoPro. I'm not sure about this. I I don't really want to say for sure because of course the only dragon I know is a Toru. I'm hoping that's not who we're talking about because that would be something I would have to you know, talk to them about because, you know, Princess Melody needs her GoPro, but
Just make sure that it's not taking your GoPro Melody. They're not going to give it back. I can guarantee that.
I'm sorry, I totally spoiled the sprint for anybody. I should have waited to the end of the 15 minutes. I think it was pretty close to the end of the 15 minutes on the sprint. I do have the sprint timer rating, so meteorite iron. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna totally check. I see that James clipped the head not ass thing. I may ask you to send that to me for the recap at the end of the event. Sable, pay it no mind. Autistic humor. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's actually really awesome. If you click on the link, it's a coin that says no mind. I guess, well, I am neurodiverse too. I think it's hilarious. A Toru! I spent months worth of sardine money on
Oh no.
that thing! All right, we have some words that have been turned in. I missed the first one. It was really close to the beginning, but I saw someone redeeming words. Oh, yeah, there we go. 241 words for the squids from Leisha MB, who is kicking all of our asses this tourney, and this obviously is why. We're chatting, she's writing. We have 139 words from the Catarch. Excellent, thank you.
Nice. Good words.
Ooh, Pride says, shoo, shoo, shoo. I do have something I'm working on to explain the GoPro. I DM'd you, Melody. Ooh, neat. I hate the ears, then the head, says James. Awesome. Take on the totemic power of the bunny. Okay, you guys gotta let me in on what that is, because I'm also working something with the GoPro. We gotta make it work.
Hey, what's going on with the GoPro? I don't know as well.
I don't know yet. We have to... I don't know what they're doing. White chocolate, milk chocolate, or dark chocolate? Asks Moon of James's bunny. I could swear we had more dragons than a Toru. That is possibly true. I heard
What's happening with my GoPro?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's right. There's Dragoness, Nia. Right. There's a rumor that Galakron may be able to take on a dragon form. I can't confirm that though. If he does, he hasn't shown his mother. Yeah, I don't know. I know there's a few more because many of them joined House Incendium and many of them joined Sauropoda, right? Which makes logical sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, now I want to...
Melody, pray that your GoPro is not getting swallowed by any of the birds.
I wonder why that opened as an entirely different window. Very interesting. I opened up the link to the meteoric iron because I was going to show it on. Oh, yeah, added the iron tome and... meteoric iron plates, yeah, embedded in the cover. Yep. Yep, makes sense. Awesome, thanks, Moon, that's excellent. Did they GoPro back in time?
You like?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about time travel, right? Because the Iron Tome theoretically could do anything, so it probably could entirely rewrite history. And I'm... This is one of the reasons why I'm not letting it out of my sight.
Let me just imagine what people can do with that Iron Tome.
Yeah, exactly. Too much power. Too much power. Absolute chaos. That's right. Way too much. Which is why I'm just going to sit right on it and do not a damn thing with it. And I'm not letting anybody else either over the bodies of myself and my Ausla. Yes, mass chaos. Oh, Toru, we were just talking about you. You don't happen to know anything about Princess Melody's GoPro, do you? But I like chaos, says Eli. And Misa
Oh
promises
no.
accessibility will help protect time travel. GoPro.
GoPro, is it shiny?
Hey, Tanshi, good to see you. How are you? We are doing utter silliness today. It's great, so.
I'm so sorry about your GoPro melody.
Yeah. Oh no. So I figured what I would do today, because hey, I'm struggling with my novel with everything that's been going on, is I thought we'd, do a little writing and hang out. We also thought we'd talk about our real world. They're not Easter traditions, but they're related to the time of year traditions as well, like, IRL stuff. Because neither one of us are Christians, right? Chris IRL is Muslim and I IRL am Wiccan, right? So we thought we might talk a bit about our holidays because people might not be familiar and it might be interesting. I don't know if you want to do that now, Chris, or if you want to save it till later.
I don't mind, but why not start with yours? I would like to hear.
Okay, well, um, on the surface, a lot of our traditions look very similar, right? Because we celebrate the vernal equinox, which is, of course, past now, right? But the origin of Easter is, based on a lunar calendar related to whenever the equinox falls. And so it's like, that's part of why it shifts, right, from year to year. But a lot of the modern traditions that we associate with Easter have pagan origins, and we kind of look to those pagan origins. What I said about goddesses of fertility in relation to Easter is like, it's absolutely true. The original origin of the vernal equinox holiday, as we understand it, came from like at least Sumer Babylon, right? So we had Inanna, who had bunnies and eggs as a symbol for that reason, fertility, right? Everybody knows what bunnies like to do, and you get two bunnies and eventually you have a million bunnies, so right? It just kind of follows from that. But Inanna became Ishtar, who became Astarte, who became Oester, which was a like sort of Anglo-Saxon goddess. And a lot of the stuff that we know about that, Easter egg hunts, and you have a feast, and the bunnies and the eggs and the painting of the eggs and all that stuff kind of came from that in the modern era. One of the reasons why it's currently associated with what is technically a Christian holiday is that it was so popular that, like many other things, when they tried to take over the pagans and, convert them all to Christianity, which obviously they were very successful at, one of the things they had to do was incorporate the popular holidays. And so the rebirth of Christ after the return of spring and whatnot seemed a very logical thing to them to associate with our fertility ritual and returning life ritual. I say our, like modern pagans actually have any direct descent from the pagan peoples of Europe, which of course we don't. We just kind of look to them for inspiration, right? And other than that, it's very similar to the secular parts of Easter as we know it. We get together. Usually we have a little, outside celebration of some kind where the point is to kind of enjoy the coming of spring and, notice things like buds on the trees and bees and flowers and all that stuff. And then there's, like we have a feast because, of course, we're kind of like, we've saved our food throughout the winter, right? So at this point, whatever we've got left is probably safe to start getting into because we know that there will be new crops and new life soon, right? And some of the young animals and whatnot are being born at this time between February, right, the beginning of February, Imbolc, right, and now a lot of new agricultural animals tend to be born at this time of year. So there's food, right? So we can have a little feast and relax and go, okay, we made it through winter. We didn't die. We didn't starve to death. Yay! Right? And life is returning to the world. So that's kind of what it's all about for me, right? So I do all the Easter stuff around the vernal equinox, and it always kind of half surprises me sometimes that I go out into the store and there's still Easter stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, right, right. They haven't had that holiday yet. So, International Pancake Day. International Pancake Day has origins in Lent, I believe, and Passover, but I don't really know exactly how that works. I think Bob's probably right. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we do. So I'd love to hear about your traditions.
My traditions. I kind of like yours. It's also lighthearted and a lot more simple to me. To me, that is, it sounded a bit more simple. Like we
Yeah,
celebrate after winter and celebrate the coming of spring in life. Like that sounds lighthearted. I love that.
completely. You're
As
absolutely right. That's exactly the intent. It's totally lighthearted. Silly games. Sometimes we do, declare a king fool for the day.
aw,
They get to do whatever they want. It's, pranking. The whole April Fool's thing is kind of brought into it sometimes. It's fun. Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I like that. Oh, okay. Well, as for me, well, like Sable said, I am a Muslim. My religion is Islam. So in this month, there is one specific month, or at least 29 days, that I would need, or any Muslims are required to fasting for at least 1 month, which we call Ramadan. So during this, so Ramadan is like a commemoration month when our prophet Muhammad was being recognized by our God as his messenger. But that is the origin of it. But mostly, but as a general concept of Ramadan is more to like for us to remind ourselves how are the poor and needy are felt when they lack of basic necessities, especially in food and water. So that is the basic concept of that to understand what is Ramadan. So during the month, we usually would start fasting from Fajar, which is from generally from 5:50 or 6 a.m. to 7 to 7:20 p.m. around that time. So I think that was around how many hours? I'm not sure about that, honestly. But yeah, it's basically from dawn to dusk that we are required to fasting. We are not allowed to eat or drink. Other than that, we basically there's a lot of restrictions that we cannot do, especially all the bad stuff. So basically the month we are required to do every good things that we are required to do. Like just generally good things. You cannot, and you can't also cursing. You cannot curse. You cannot talk behind someone's back. We can't do anything generally bad to others. We need to try our best to be good. Need to be need to try our best to be on good behavior for the whole month.
I think that's really cool though, right? Like I don't think that I think it's important to kind of go internal, right? Whether you have faith or a philosophy, we need to look inward sometimes instead of outward and try to spend some time in, you know, discipline and self improvement, right? And I think that, it's really cool that this is mandated by your faith and that it's something that everybody is expected to do, not just people who would be, priests or rabbis or, imams or whatever, right? Like they're required to do it just as a secular, well, a
Mm-hmm.
faithful person, right? I think that's awesome, right? I wish that we had more time and place for that that is accepted broadly over the world, right? So that's cool.
Yeah, it was well, I would say at least for me in Malaysia it's quite fun during Ramadan because only in this specific month we have certain foods that only available for this month. So if you look at other months or any other places, it's quite rare to have some food while you can try to find, but the price will be much more expensive than you would get at the bazaar. That's what we call bazaar Ramadan, where we that's usually the highlight for us Malaysians, Muslims at least. And Moonflower raises hand to me. Yes,
Yeah.
Moonflower, do you have a question? Sound like a question or something. But yeah, that is the highlight of the month is usually the fasting and also the iftar, which is the time where we break our fast and that's when we just indulge ourselves. You'd be surprised that even when you feel hungry the whole day, like just eat a little bit food, you immediately feel full. You don't need to eat more than you are required. Even when I only eat just one piece of chicken, I already feel full. Like seriously.
Yeah, they say that that's good for our health too, right? To fast for limited periods of time. And then yeah, exactly. You don't end up with you end up eating exactly what you need. Most of us overindulge in food, let's face it. We're kind of wired to do that. But that
Yeah,
kind of
like it.
resets it.
Mm-hmm. It really gives you, like, really teach you about self-control and all, especially that you really can hope for this month to actually save up for monetary or anything that you really keep track on what you're going to get. So it's really this month is always is look forward at least for every Muslims. And you can get a lot of free food from mosque as well, so go ahead.
That sounds awesome. Okay,
So
so there's Moonflower's question. Yeah.
can you drink water if it's important to your health, like if you have a particular infection? What about diabetics? Can they drink sweet orange juice if their blood sugar would be impacted? That's a good question, Moonflower. Okay, so while it is compulsory for every Muslims to fast, there are certain exceptions for certain people, like for those who having like chronic illness. There's also even for diabetics, if their blood sugar always rapidly goes down, like really they cannot control it, they are permitted to not fasting for the month. Like whoever is sick, like really really sick, they are not compulsory to fast. Like if like only if the sickness is really detrimental for their health, only then they can break their fast. Otherwise, if they can still fast for the month or for the day, then they should not be drinking or eating. They are only allowed to eat or drink if it's really necessary. And for those who are menstruating, also they're not allowed to eat because it's a to us Muslims, menstruating is considered like uh dirty. I don't have any other polite word to put that, but yeah, if you're menstruating as well, you're not allowed to fast. You can just go ahead and eat or drink, but you also need to watch where you eat or drink if you are not fasting. Generally, we don't mind if you're eating in front of us, but sometimes some people take that a bit too far. So it's not. So it's better to be careful where who you're eating in front of.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. No point in, making things more difficult for other people. I totally understand
Mhm.
that. Yeah, Toru asked children, illness, and pregnancy, right?
Yep, that's correct. Children are not allowed to fasting, but they are more than welcome to do so if they want us if they want, that is, like, make sure that the children themselves want to do it. They are not Nobody is allowed to force them to do it. And also, yeah, pregnancy as well. Pregnant women cannot fast. They are not allowed because, yeah, it's important for the mother and also for the child inside the body need to have the nutrition. So yeah, but after that, after the month of Ramadan, they need to replace those missed days for that. If they miss some days in Ramadan when they cannot fast, they need to replace that. So yeah, depending, if you miss out for 1 week, you need to replace 1 week as well. They need to do that.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I see a lot of really cool responses to that. And by the way, good job on the 136 words there, Bob. Excellent work. Moonflower says, my family's religion, Mormonism, gives options for fasting. Like if you cannot fast with food or water, you can fast with something else. Cannot think of examples. I could, right? Occasionally, a pagan will feel a need to do fasting as part of an internal religious thing, and this is never dictated by any particular time or holiday, but I've done it in preparation for important rituals like an initiation, for example. And so at times I've done things like once I felt called to give up red meat and caffeine for a week. That was a nightmare, at least in the first day or two. But
I can only imagine.
I'm so addicted to coffee. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I did that because that was a discipline, and I felt the need to do kind of a cleansing of my body to prepare it for the spiritual journey that it was about to go through. Right. So I get that. Right. And that would be an example, I imagine. Right. Bob says Catholic fasting rules vary all over the planet. Yes, Catholics also have a tradition of fasting and things like, give up meat for Lent and so on, right? In the US, people over 65 are not required to fast, though healthy ones are encouraged to. Children not yet confirmed are not required to fast, though most will abstain, not eat meat, because the parents don't. Yeah, that makes sense. He also says important Catholic rules are the difference between fasting and abstaining. Yeah, that makes sense. Abstaining simply means not eating meat. You want to stuff your face with cheese and salad or fish? Go for it. Yeah, that also makes sense too. And he says fasting means no more than one meal during the day and it should be light. Catholics don't require a full fast.
Oh, that's interesting.
Information that I did not know, Bob, actually, so that's really helpful. Thank you. I love the sharing of traditions. I'm always happy to learn about other people's traditions and what they do and the reasons in different faiths why people came to the conclusions that they did about particular instructions or beliefs, right? Because it always comes down to that. Eventually, you got to parse the details and go, well, what is acceptable and what isn't? Because there's always exceptions, like with diabetics, for example, who have uncontrolled blood sugar, who simply cannot not eat for several hours. You've got to find out a way around that while still respecting the tradition, right? So
Mm-hmm. I mean, I used to be a diabetic before, so I experienced fasting. So, the first few days it was a bit hard because I couldn't control my blood sugar, but then it got a bit better once I know what I need to consume for the day, and it would last a bit longer until it will be iftar in the evening. So yeah, I know, but yeah, if it's really bad, you are allowed to break your fast, if anything.
yeah, that seems reasonable. That makes sense. We have 81 words for the flames from the great flame themselves. Good job, Eli. Moonflower says, I've never fasted with water because as a child I would have frequent, really bad UTIs that could require hospitalization. Yeah, that would make that kind of challenging.
Mhm.
Bob says, I was raised Catholic with 12 years of Catholic schooling. I'm not practicing, but I'm not anti Catholic either. Yeah, I'm, every many paths to the top of the mountain. That's why I always love to hear about other people's traditions. Emily says, yeah, I think religions are super interesting. As a Unitarian Universalist, we kind of take bits and pieces from a bunch of different religions, so we learn about all sorts of interesting traditions. I like the Unitarian Universalists. I tend to get along with them really well. I probably would attend the local church if it were not in another town here, right? The closest one is in Kelowna. That's a 45-minute drive. I just don't have that kind of get up and go on Sunday morning. So I don't go, but there's nothing in what the Unitarians believe that seems to run contrary to what a lot of pagans believe. There's a large group of pagans within the Unitarian Universalists, and they let us use their church to hold our events before. So, yeah, absolutely awesome. Bob says Catholics also exempt any valid medical reason for not participating in fast or abstinence. Sensible. Yeah, Atoru says, I'm very much a find your own path person. Yeah, I can get behind that, Emily. Yeah, ours is pretty far, so I don't attend currently, but it's a pretty chill religion. Just be nice to people and seek your truth respectfully. Yeah, I can get behind
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if anything, every base of religion is just like be nice, just follow what you're told to, and yeah, respect others. Honestly, it's the always the very base of religion. If anything, that's just so simple.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we have a meme. Oh my god, that's
Man,
great.
melody worked fast.
Okay, you know what? I gotta find a way to. For some reason, it is opening this up as a separate window that I'm not logged into, rather than opening it up in my browser. I don't know what the heck's going on with that. So I'll copy it into my browser because it's funny.
I like this swan.
Me too.
Yes, I am carrying the bunny.
Yep. Well, we got to get there fast. So, flying is faster than hopping, no matter how fast we hop.
True, true. Make sure the bunny is holding on tight though.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. I absolutely love it. Melody, good work. That's funny. You've been saving this one, haven't you? Melody goes and looks for things and goes, oh yeah, that would be perfect for this idea, and then saves them up for when they're time to go, I think. Eli says, I was raised Lutheran, but I never followed most of the traditions except major holidays. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm like that too. I did follow all of the smaller things, only the major ones. And not even a lot.
I hope my crunching is not happening in people's ears. I have popcorn and I am
Oh,
eating, so because I need to. I apologize. Okay, Eli, no, I read that one. Emily says, yeah, dad is Christian, mom is Jewish. We converted to the UUs when I was around 7, so we do a weird mix of holidays. That seems a practical thing to do for a Christian Jewish marriage, though. No, it's cool. Um, yeah, so I am apparently like the part of the biography thing that I put in there for the Sable Aradia character in the Game of Tomes universe is autobiographical. Like there is autobiographical um, information. Like my dad actually did go do a genetics test with 23andMe because we knew very little about his mother. She disappeared when he was a pretty small kid, right? And found out that we are Ashkenazi Jewish. I am what you call a half Jewish because it's my dad who was Jewish, not my mother, right? So and it's matrilineal. But I don't know anything about Jewish traditions. We weren't raised in it at all, right? So, but I apparently have Jewish, like, half aunt, I guess you could say, a couple of half aunts and some cousins who live in California that I've never met in person. So, interesting times when you can do genetics testing, which is why I thought it was really kind of fun that House Chiroptera has incorporated that into canon in the GoTverse now. That's great. Now that makes sense, Eli. I don't really do holidays anymore. I had problems with Christianity in my 20s and left to pursue Taoism. Taoism's cool. It's I don't presume to have a thorough understanding of it, but my surface understanding makes me go, yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Emily. Right. Oh, that's neat. You could do that. Yeah, we're Ashkenazi too. I got a ton of it in my 23andMe, which explains the health issues. Yeah, I suppose, eh? My dad has that whatever, genetics thing that we have. I forget the name for it, where his blood cells are small. I don't appear to. I have been tested for it, so I don't remember what it was called, but yeah. The things you learn, right? Um, yes, right. I was trying to remember, did I have a schedule? Not really. We were kind of just babbling. Yeah, I suppose I should ask the Penguin Prince training or trading not sickle cell. No, sickle cell is a different thing. It might be hemophilia C. I don't know. Yeah. Huh. Cute, Itanchi. I get that, right? I jokingly refer to myself as diagnostic, which is to say, I'll test it all and see what I like. Yep, makes sense. Pantheistic, agnostic, theist. Sure, makes sense. I know it seems contradictory, but it actually isn't. The cool thing that I like about pagan faiths is that any interpretation of the mythos is valid, right? So if you believe in literal deities from literal pantheons that directly talk to you, that's perfectly fine. If you follow one pantheon in particular, that's perfectly fine. If you believe in them as kind of universal forces that occasionally interact with humanity and we kind of give it personifications that we can understand, that's fine. And if you want to believe that it's entirely a message of the subconscious and a metaphor that has some roots in Jungian psychology and has no actual spiritual effect whatsoever, that's also perfectly fine, right? Like, all of these are valid interpretations. So, for me, if you want to know my perspective, and remember, you ask, two different pagans, you'll get three different opinions, right? The jury is out, right? Is what I'm saying. I believe in science. I acknowledge that psychology is weird, and the way we interact with the divine as we understand it could entirely be messages of our subconscious and the power of our belief, as opposed to anything that is otherworldly or beyond. But it also could be otherworldly and beyond. And you can't really prove one or the other. So I have to accept that both possibilities could be true, which is kind of fun. Because then you interrogate it and you go, okay, so what is the value of this belief or tradition? Is it valuable to do it anyway if you don't believe that there's going to be some, deity who's going to punish you for not doing it, right? Or not accept you for not doing it, right? Like it it forces you, I think, to question every action and decide personally, is this the best I can do in the time, right? And so it's a matter of very personal ethical responsibility, because you can't really hold up a code and say, okay, I've got a checklist here and I didn't lie and I didn't cheat and I didn't steal, whatever, because sometimes that can vary, right? Which is the better good? Is it better to tell me, yes, the pants make my ass look fat? You know? Maybe you will really hurt my feelings by telling me that. How is that going to do any good, right? You know, maybe you're stealing a loaf of bread to feed your family, right? I would think that would be a better good. So, you know, yeah, it's all about personal responsibility. Nothing's forbidden, everything has a consequence. Emily, that's hilarious. I hate it. It only counts if it's on your mom's side. If you got the guilt problems, you're Jewish. Yeah, you know what? I call myself Jewish. I'm, largely because, like, okay, the whole thing about my grandmother left Poland right at the beginning of World War II. Yep, I'm not making that up. And I don't know why. I don't know if she had a bad feeling about this or not, right? But the fact is, I am sure that I have immediate relatives, right, who are no longer with us. And the Nazis would have burnt my ass too. They would not have cared that I know nothing about my Jewish heritage, right? So I will stand on that side of the line and say, yeah. I'm not going to claim to know anything about traditions because I don't, and I can't speak for anybody else, but yeah. Moonflower says, well, if a bowl of tapioca pudding hallucinates so vividly it created calculus, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Fantasine. I'm sorry you're so tired, my goodness. Yes, by all
Oh,
means,
big
hang out
mood.
and nap. Eli says, I'm Jewish on my father's side, which I didn't see, which doesn't count officially, but I count it. Yeah, you and I are in the same boat, right? Half Jewish, that's what they call it. We could be full Jewish if we wanted to convert. 474 words for Leisha MB for the Molluskins. Good work. And Emily says, yes, 100% times 1,000. And then, yes, we did Ancestry, and half the fam fled Poland and Austria right before World War II, and the other half stayed, but nobody talks about it at all. Of course they don't. So we only have dates and names about people, really. Yeah. And how you can write and talk, I don't know. God damn it. Because I cannot.
The skill.
Damn it.
I mean, to be fair, I just like listening to people and then I just write whatever comes to mind.
That's awesome, Chris. Good work. 496 words for House Avis. Yeah.
Yes.
Moon says, bounces, are you going to make the Avisalia article now? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought I'd do when this next sprint starts here in 40 seconds. I don't know what, I'm gonna switch here to my fantasy player. So things are gonna go black screen for a minute. And I'm gonna hope that it doesn't completely blow up my system to run, because we're not doing video today, so it should be less hard on the system, because it has better cheerful music that I can put on in the background. Yay, let's get those words, says Emily. 143 for the King Lizard. Good job.
Neat.
Yeah, and I agree with the Toraru. It's the whole murderer comes looking to kill your friend. You lie and say you haven't seen them, or tell the truth and get your friend killed. Yeah, of course you lie. Naturally, you lie. That's definitely the better good there. So, yeah. I think you do anyway. Okay, I'm looking for festival type music. What do we got? Goblin Battle has festival music. I don't know about this. Goblin Song. I'm going to put this on just for giggles. See if it actually is a good song. It's definitely goblin music, but I don't think it's going to work for my writing mood. That is cute as hell. Okay. Huh. Exotic Palace. That's pretty. I'm running with that. What do I use for music, Sable? I use a program called Sirenscape. It's designed for gaming music, but it comes with license to stream most of its stuff. So I just use it for streaming as well. All right, let's do Avisalia. Writing sprint beginning. What? We don't have a Penguin Prinks article yet?
Oh shit. I'm trying, okay.
Okay, okay.
I'm trying. I'm stuck on the personal history. I may have been too self-indulgent.
That's fair enough.
I got too self-indulgent and I got stuck. I am working on it, or I'm working on it.
I think I better do a quick article creation because the title might change, so I can't just like auto link there. So yeah. Because I don't know, is the Penguin Prinks the official title of the leader of House Avis, and it would be the title of the person who held that rank regardless of whether it was you, or is it a personal epithet? So.
Good question.
Better put those words in my word counter because I'm gonna have to shut down that. So.
What am I doing?
What's that?
No, nothing. Nothing you need to worry about.
Okay. And that's the sprint. Let's see how I did here. What are you working on this time, Chris? I don't even know.
There's no need to be. There's no need to know.
Oh.
Nothing.
Is it like your project with, you know, the first game of Tomes, the characters are spending so much time having sex?
No. I mean, not exactly like the first one, but it is around that.
Awesome. Awesome, that's great. That's fun.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm literally just searching up frickin'.
Alright, so that's 181 for me for the sprint. Yay! Oh, we have a question. Okay. We also have... Let's see. Okay, just a minute here. Yeah, Eli said, my family also fled Poland just before World War II. Don't know why, but I have guesses. Yeah. 53 words for House Lappin from James. Thank you, Captain. Moon's like, I only just got to the Bat Monarch. Yeah, I know there's so many titles that we're still trying to fill in and how it differentiates, right? James says, question, does this sentence make sense? The word unawares throws me off. James finds himself back in the final battle, having been taken unawares as with the other blacksmiths. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, unawares is not used in any other context in English anymore, but that it is, so... Atoru says, ooh, a GoPro is a type of camera. Yes, it's taken me that long to figure that out. Looks at the shinies she picked up on the beach. I might be in trouble. Oh no, Shroom Badger art complete. Look forward to Voidlore 3 recording in a few hours. Oh no. Hide shinies from Melody, says Atoru. It's fine, no one really comes to my cave. I agree with Moon. I before E except after C is the stupidest rule, especially because there are always exceptions.
Melody's still looking for
I got distracted. I better, see, lapping away here. I better turn in my words before I forget. Alright. Question. Trigger warning. Violence and blood. If you kick someone in the shin when you are wearing steel-capped boots, can you make the person bleed? You most certainly can. You can... Okay, graphic description, but we're writers. You need to know these things, right? You can peel back the skin completely, right? Exposing the kneecap, right? Or the shin or the bone, right? You could also easily break that bone by kicking someone in the shin hard enough with steel cap boots. If you kick them at the force of a regular kick and you land it square on, you will probably break the bone. You just ask Aaron all about it. He can tell you how his bones have been broken in karate, never mind wearing steel-toed boots. 90 light edits for Lappin from the Avisalia Captain. Thank you. We have 219 words from my compatriot here. Good job. Oh, and Aaron already answered, so I should have just shut up my mouth and let him answer. Hi, honey. 208 words for the dinos from Emily. Good work. I do not see that Incendium report being under a channel point reward there. Eli, did you pick the channel point reward? And hey, Coral, good to see you. Thank you for the happy Avisalia. Happy Avisalia to you too.
Oh, happy Avisalia, Coral. I did not get this.
Where is my GoPro? Says Melody. 329 words for the dinos from the King Lizard. Good work.
Neat.
There we go. Now we have Incendium with the channel point reward. Excellent. 120 words from the Great Flame. You know what the official title should be of House Avis's leader?
Oh, what is it?
The Big Bird. That's what it should
Oh,
be.
no. No.
Yes.
No. Am I supposed to get a Big Bird costume now?
Well, it would be funny.
I don't know where to keep it.
Big Burb. Yeah, the Big Burb. Yeah. You know what? Unless you really object, that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing it right now. Alright, it's happening. I'm in the template now. Title rank. The Big Bird. Or should it be Big Burb?
Yes, Big Burb. Do it.
The Big Burb.
I'm letting you do it, Big Burb.
Awesome. Of the leader of House Avis. Yes. Because this is Game of Tomes, and we are allowed to be ridiculous.
The official title, but the penguin prints are not gonna let anyone know about it.
I believe that. That's great. It's secret.
If someone randomly come up, oh, you're the Big Bird. No, you do not know that name.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. Create article. Oh, wait, no. What does that go under now? Moon, where do I put the ranks and titles? You're right, I didn't even think of that, Bob. Big Burb avoids trademark issues because it becomes clearly parody at that point.
Big Burb.
Having issues with procedure articles, oh dear. Titles and professions. Okay, will do. That's amazing. But the Big Burb and the Chief Rabbit decided to form an alliance to bring light and warmth back to the world. Excuse me. That's the sprint. I have gone down a lapping hole of research, but it's kind of necessary, so.
I got distracted by my own penguin prince
Oh,
article I'm working on.
awesome! Hey, those are words, they count. Oh no, there's been lots of chatter. 105 words from the Avisalia captain. Thank you. We have, wow, 622 words for the Fluffle from Coral. Good work. We have 344 words for the School of the Molluskins from Lee Shamby. Trying to cook and write at the same time is hard. And yeah. Ugh. You make me tired just looking at your scores, okay? Okay, James needs to be right back. Fantasine is getting tea and getting tea and talking to the roommate, but the words were good. That's good. Eli has 37 light edits from Incendium. We have 164 words from Fantasine for the Fluffle. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I gotta try to catch up on this chat, and there was a lot of it. Alright, where were we? Moon wants to know if they should make a change request form for the website. Yes, that's a great idea. That way we have a place that we can look at for people making requests for information from their articles being changed or whatever. That makes a lot of sense. Hey Pride, good to see you. It's cool that you're here on mute. Atoru says, what type of GoPro is it, Melody? I mean, can you prove it's yours? Hello, Mikola Void. Good to see you. Mikola says, I'm still learning, so it's okay to make mistakes. Though it may seem like a loss when you make mistakes, it is a victory of a different kind, because that is one way you learn. Couldn't agree more. Don't ever forget that no matter how many mistakes you make, you are still beautiful and incredible. You are a light, inspiration, and a joy to share a world with. Thank you, that's lovely. Melody says, it has my SD card in it. There's definitely no secret information. Eli has to spell Incendium. Ugh. Melody says, insert compulsory Big Bird meme. Bob suggests, not a full costume, but a headpiece with lots of loose yellow feathers would be more than enough.
Are you telling me to find feathers now?
Yeah, penguin, says Eli, not big yellow bird. Yeah.
Too late now, I'm a big burp now.
Yup, that's right. It's too late. Toru says obsessed with teaching kids letters and numbers runs. Uh-oh. Avisalia will go under rituals and traditions. Yeah, fair enough, Moon, I got it. That one I did know. Having trouble with procedure articles. To answer your question from earlier, which I saw but didn't respond to, and I don't remember whether that was here or in the Discord, I don't know whether it would be a better approach to say what, theoretically should be done or what you would do. Depends. Right? Which is easier for you to write. You can always modify it from there. Eli is turning off voice to text on computer for a bit because they hate it. Yeah, I sympathize. Whoever programmed this piece of shit did not know how to do it. Neither do I, to be fair, but the one on my tablet is much better. Yeah. And then Eli says, I'm actually kind of wondering if For the Words will accept voice to text on my tablet. Maybe. Worth trying. Atoru flies back under the waterfall to her cave and examines the shiny. Yep. Okay. Oh, let's see what's on here. James as a tiger comes to the cave also and gets himself wet, washing off the dirt of travel. Toru quickly hides the shiny under her wing. Oh, hello, James! And that's the back to work growl. I think I will do my best to catch up. I'll catch up on the chat later. Words that I didn't report yet. 263 dino words from Emily. Good job. And Chris did 160 Avis words. Excellent, my friend.
Yes.
Should I... Oh, sorry.
I was about to read what Kajitan said.
Oh, go for it.
You should change the Penguin Prince to Big Burp in the stream title. I don't know.
I will if you want me to.
Mm, well, you know what? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
I mean, what do I have to lose? Probably my dignity.
Only your dignity. Yeah, if you wanted dignity, you never should have been part of Game of Tomes. We don't have any dignity.
Exactly. Who needs that?
Ah, that's for serious people.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Back to work, back to work. All right, I was in a lapping hole. I was reading.
I can see that. I wish it's a food, Eli. At least you feel full eating dignity. Too bad it's not.
Ah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, cool. I will advise you all to check my tooltips on this article. Because I'm coming up with all kinds of little side thoughts here that I think are fun. I'll run them by you, of course, there, Chris, since this is our joint project. Right? But, you know, I think there's some fun stuff in here.
You rabbit and the big brook. I can see that. Wait, Smarties used to have penguin? do remember that. Oh, thank you for sharing, James. Oh, I
Oh, now I
miss
gotta look at
Smarties.
this. Smarties? This is what we're looking at?
And it's
Candy?
yeah, and it's like inside a penguin shape.
Oh no. I probably don't need to do this to myself. That's frickin' adorable.
It it is. Oh, thank you for sharing, James.
Yeah.
Damn, I miss Smarties.
I miss Smarties. I can't eat them anymore.
Yeah, Smarties used to be here in Malaysia, but now they're no longer. I used to be addicted to them.
Oop, one moment. I have to mute the mic.
Good job, Bob. No math on Easter. Yeah, true. What is counting? 57 words for House Incendium. Nice.
I am back.
I bet.
And that's the sprint. Well, timing's good on that one. I wanted to run some stuff by you anyway, so... Alright. Alright, what else did I miss here? Bob did 144 words for the dinos that I missed earlier. Good job. He says now he has to trim 150 or so words out of his one shot to get it under the 3,000 word limit. Awesome. James shakes like a dog to get his fur quickly dry and finds a pile of copper coins to take a nap on. Before sleeping, he says, I need to keep an eye on Melody, the slippery cat. Melody says, I just big-brained the GoPro plotline. You're all welcome. Secrets. Awesome. Eli is contemplating recording something. They wrote a filk last week that they think works really well for this week. Excellent. Or they could just see if someone can caption a different filk that they wrote. It's already recorded, just needs captions. That's a good idea, and you should totally do that as a backup. And obviously, Melody and Realm are the filk captioning people. I suggest Realm because I think his schedule is a little more open. Yeah, let's see. I said the word counts. Atoru says, yes, James, I don't know much about her other than what I've seen of her on the news. She just doesn't seem to be, well, not to be rude, but a penny short of a pound, if you get my meaning. Naive, certainly. Either that or she plays it very well and is actually extremely clever. This to being all about Princess Melody, which is hilarious. James is settling into the copper pieces. There are also pretty shells and sea glass there. Awesome. Oh, blue Smarties. Yeah, those are dangerous. Alright. Melody is lurking for recording voiders if Gallo wakes up on time. Uh-oh. Yep. James is a tiger, stares at his sleep, and wakes up and says, "It's the red Skittles that make me do that." Then sits on his arse and looks out to see Kelowna in the distance and shivers a bit. Uh-oh. Yay, Bob made the word count limit. He edited it down. Should probably claim some light edit words for Game of Tomes. Yeah, you should. But that's math. No math on Easter. No, it's actually not math. It's 1/3 of the total. So since you cut 150 words, well, I guess you could do it the other way, but yeah. No, it's not actually. You're right. It's math. 57 words for Incendium from the Great Flame. I'm back, I'm dead, says Eli. A walking, talking dad joke. That's true. James's tiger jumps as he sees Sable, leader of House Lappin, has teleported in next to him. Reality is fine. Wouldn't you like to know how I managed that, huh? Did I get these words from before? I'm not sure I did, so I will. Emily did 180 light edits for the dinos. Alicia MB did 629 words for the molluskins, and we have 375 words for the fluffle from Fantasine. Good work, guys. No, those are new. Okay. James turns to the flame in the cave, walks closer to it, and says, "I thought you were a walking flame, Eli." Oh no. Moonflower says, "Mike and Ike, Swedish Fish, Sour Patch Kids, or Nerds. Which should I eat first? Not the Sour Patch Kids, because you will not be able to taste anything else after that. So my suggestion is start with Mike and Ike, go to the Nerds, then the Swedish Fish, and finish up with the Sour Patch Kids." And that's one more sprint carrying on here. This will be I think the final sprint that we'll do, because there's some chatter that I want to get done, and I have to call the stream at 1:30 my time today. It's 1:05 now. Right? The first half, the 15-word doc, so is that 1,500 words? Okay, yes, it's 500 words light edits. Yes, Bob, you're absolutely right, because you count what you went through and divide it by 3. So if you went through half of the 3,000 word document, that is 1,500, divided by 3 is 500.
God, I hate math.
That's light edits. Yeah, heavy edits would be 1,000 words there, Moon, I believe. Okay, something like that. Yeah. James is the tiger, looks to Sable. "I hope you don't teleport away without me and the other Asla knowing about it." Okay, if he went through half the document, yeah. Yep, exactly. Yep, Moon, thank you. Yep, perfect. Okay, so we're on the same page. Right, I was going to run this by you. Okay, so what I have so far. Let's see here. Obviously, I'll have to finish this later today, but that's awesome. And I gotta find pictures. We need, like, pictures. Crazy Easter stuff. Oh, sorry, you were gonna say?
No, it's nothing.
Okay. So, Avisalia is a holiday that celebrates an ancient alliance between House Avis and House Lappin. Lost to time in the Renaissance due to the decline of the age of literomancy, it has recently been revived among the literomantic houses and is beginning to catch on in popular culture as well. Oh, I totally did the wrong link there. During the Tourney of Tales of April 2022, Chrysalia, the penguin prince, and Sablerotia, the mother of bunnies, held a public Avisalia celebration and feast for the first time in hundreds of years. And that's what we got to talk about. What are we feeding people for Avisalia? Because we didn't discuss that yet. I forgot about it.
Oh, oh no.
The event was widely attended by literancers, though only sparsely attended by the general public. They both have hopes that their event will grow in popularity as it becomes more established. I should say again, actually, now that I'm reading through that. History. The Word War of 2020 was not the first appearance of the undead horde in the world. In prehistoric times, there was a time when the power of the undead horde was such that there was a winter that lasted for years, accompanied by endless darkness. Perhaps the Iron Tome was in their possession. According to myth, the Literamantic houses were still new and rarely engaged with one another outside of their own concerns. But the Big Burb and the Chief Rabbit decided to form an alliance to bring light and warmth back to the world. Together they faced down the undead horde, and after much loss, they were able to turn the tide, drive the undead horde underground once again, and bring back the sun. Avisalia commemorates this ancient alliance and its success. Echoes of this event, say the Burbs and Bunnies, is remembered in vernal equinox celebrations and traditions all over the world, including the modern observance of Easter. It is also remembered in numerous bird and bunny-related myths, such as the association of rabbits with the moon and ravens stealing the sun. I have a tooltip on rabbits with the moon. Right? One Lapin myth claims that the chief rabbit made a giant cake or rice cake to distract the hungry zombies and tossed it into the sky for them to chase. Another myth told by the Lapins and the Avis say that the moon was a giant egg instead, representing great sacrifice on the part of the Avis house.
Nice.
So far, so good?
Yeah, that. So far, so good.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, later with the dawn of civilization, bunnies and burbs became associated with goddesses of love and fertility. Since most of these deities descend in some way from the Sumerian goddess Inanna, who descended into the underworld to reclaim her lost love, died, and was later resurrected through the actions or decrees of the god Anki, some scholars of Tome lore believe that Inanna and Anki may be half-remembered names of the chief rabbit and the big burb, who were responsible for the alliance and the victory being commemorated. And then I have a tooltip on the victory being commemorated. There may be historical details couched in the myth. Perhaps Inanna was taken by the horde in the final assault. That would have been the chief rabbit, right? But when Anki claimed the Iron Tome, he resurrected her through the tome's power. So he would be the big burb, and that would have been a time when House Avis had the Iron Tome. I don't know what you think of that. You seem to be hesitating.
No, I'm not hesitating. I'm trying to think. I couldn't think of anything. Go on, continue.
Okay. Most recent traditions may have evolved, or more recent traditions rather, may have evolved from a darker development of Avisalia traditions in the Bronze and Iron Age. According to the myths of both House Lapin and House Avis, people began to hunt and eat the bunny and burb relatives of both houses to claim some of their power totemically. They claimed that encouraging people to fast and then later to eat chocolate representations of burbs and bunnies instead was a grand trick and a very successful propaganda victory accomplished by both houses.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking about Sarpada, but I forgot what it was. Thank you so much.
Okay. You have a thought about Sauropoda?
Yeah, he said that did Avis earn, quote unquote, earn the Iron Tome at that time, or did they steal it from the Sarpada when they split?
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know. You guys will have to work that out and let me know. But in this particular case, what I'm talking about is when the Avis and the Lapins went after the undead horde, and this would have been a time when the dinos would still have existed, but would be seriously reduced from the big one, right? So they weren't a huge, significant presence and could not mount a defense against the undead horde, which is probably why the undead horde was so successful at this time. It was the undead horde who may have had the Iron Tome, right? So, Inanna died in like the near assault, so it would have been week 5 elimination like it was for House Lappin in the first Game of Tomes, right? And it was House Avis who claimed the Iron Tome, so the big burb resurrected his friend, right? But it could explain why Sauropoda suffered so much after the split.
Yeah, we could work on that later, Bob, if you want to.
That sounds awesome. That is a really cool lore idea. Whatever you guys decide to do with it. And I'm totally going with the Sauropodans were first.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were.
Yeah, we're going to work on that Sauropoda and Avis history, Bob, at some point. But overall, I like the Avisalia edition here so far.
Awesome. Do you have anything you want to add in particular?
I couldn't think of anything. But yeah, they did mention that we need to think about what kind of food we serve on Avisalia.
Yeah. Well, okay, bunnies are pretty simple to feed, right? We like veggies. We can eat pretty much any, like, plant matter, more or less, that isn't toxic. But we really like the stuff that grows in gardens, because that's the good stuff, right? It's actually bad for us to have too much of that, just like it's bad for anybody to have too much candy, right? Because it's candy, but we love it. So on our celebrations, we tend to serve, like, carrot cake and, big leafy green salads. And we also, we really like bananas. This is a modern thing because, like, bananas were at one point, you could only get them certain places in the world, but now they're far more widespread, and we really like them. We think they're just the best, so we always have some banana bread or something like that going on, at least in recent times. And we always serve things to honor the burbs, too, right? So we try to serve, like, it's like very seedy cookies and, stuff that the burbs would eat. We're not as fond of the grubs and stuff like that, but if our friends from House Avis come over, we'll make sure that they have plenty to eat, regardless of what they eat. So that's what we do. I don't know what you guys do.
I mean, I would like to think that only on Avisalia, the House Avis will only become at least I guess on Avisalia the birds would try to eat vegetarian, I guess. Try to be vegetarian just to respect the House Lapin. Like as a way to accommodate House Lapin. Like House Lapin been so nice to the birds, so the birds could just for one day to respect the bunnies with their meals. I mean, they like bananas. We like bananas.
Awesome. Awesome. So clearly bananas are a thing. Yeah.
Bananas and oatmeal, yes.
Yes, bananas and oatmeal. That makes perfect sense. Because that's things we both like to eat, so.
Yes.
Absolutely, Moon, you've got the timeline roughly correct there. Not that, I mean, we're talking like way prehistoric, but yeah, right? As far as I'm aware, the Avisalia Word War would be after the split between Sauropoda and Avis. Yep, that would happen first and fairly long before. Yeah, this would likely be shortly after the last Ice Age, from my understanding. Correct. Correct. It could be an explanation for the end of the Ice Age. And actually, I should put that in a tooltip because, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There we go. Again, a tool tip on that they were able to bring back the sun. Right? It says now, some scholars of Tome lore claim that this is a myth that explains, quote unquote, the Ice Age. Others that the Ice Age is how modern scientists explain the literomantic magical event that was the Endless Winter.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would love to know more about the lore of the Endless Winter.
Ooh. Well, clearly in the GoTverse, obviously the Undead Horde had something to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there toy soldiers tonight? Asked Bob. There is intended to be. I hope so. That is the current plan. I feel frazzled today, though, and I'm really not 100% sure. Awesome idea, Moon. If you're up to it, I will help you. Making a timeline? And that's the sprint. All right, so I was badgering there, but I really needed to finish that paragraph so I'd know what the heck I was doing. All right, but that's my only words for the sprint because mostly I was chattering, so that's 87 words. We have 63 words for the molluskins from Leisha MB. Good job. Bob's off. See you later. Sighs and relief, says Moon. Help will... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, I was just saying that I got distracted with other things.
Oh no! Pride cut his toe working in the garden.
Ouch.
That sucks. Don't actually make the lore real, Pride. We'd like you to keep both feet.
Oh no.
Okay, Moon sighs in relief. I don't remember everything. Help would be appreciated. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take care of it, go back out. Yeah, because you're a stubborn bastard. Alright. All right, you're crazy, but banana bread French toast sounds delicious.
It'll make me hungry at 4 a.m. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. We're talking ancient history lore here. Shouldn't interfere with anything else going on. Yeah, if people are still holding a grudge about that. Yeah, so long ago. I mean, maybe they sort of are, which is fun. Atoru blinks. Much as I like, visitors, let's go down to the fire pit. You were all, well, in my bedroom. So, get out? She nudges everyone away from the copper pile, quickly hiding the other shiny back in the pile. Come on, I want to see if there's any chili left. Doesn't actually eat chili IRL, that would be bad. Yeah. I like chili, but yeah. It doesn't like me much, depending. Yeah. Okay, Kayatan says, I have one question about ancient history lore. How would the World Forge and its paladins fit into it all? I think my character clearly established it as a separate group. I haven't a frickin' clue. Perhaps you can give me some suggestions. Yep, I have no idea, man. Alright, so we're not actually doing a sprint, so I'm going to shut down the timer here. Poof! Timer goes away. We have 5 minutes left before I have to call this, so... Bring out your words! Bring out your words!
Okay, double check if I have my words.
Bring out your words! Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, actually, so... So yes, as we begin to close this down, make sure you partake of our vegetarian feast, prominently featuring bananas and oatmeal.
Yes.
We have some oat cakes here, and we have some banana bread, and we have some banana desserts, and, you know, there is carrot cake, and I imagine there's, like, all kinds of, like, granola mixes and things, and, yeah, sounds, like, tasty in my head. That's a cool idea, Kayatan. We can run with that. He says, I'm thinking that maybe the World Forge is an interdimensional group that watches over all worlds. This seems... Sorry, go ahead.
So like each members like have their own, are in their own worlds and watch over it, or something like that.
Well, yeah, basically that they travel between the different worlds and, you know... I guess, you know, they're paladins, so they go do good and make sure that the forces of darkness are kept back or whatever, right? I would think. All right, so Emily turns in 226 words for the dinos. Good work. We have another 342 dino words from Mikola. Excellent. We have 26 words for the Fluffle from Fantasine. Good job. Pride says, and once I'm done with the garden, about 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, you can all come hang out with me to chat if you got nothing better to do. That sounds like fun. That would be what, my time? That's like 5 o'clock? It depends whether or not we are having a Toy Soldiers game. If we are not, I will be there. World Forge would be more neutral than good. Then can't be paladins, man. You need to come up with a different name. Templars, maybe? I don't know. All right, last call for words, guys. Is there anything you would like to add? Oh, big burbly one before we go.
Probably. um, Not much, I guess. Just look after yourself, please. Don't break your hands and everything. Please, self care is equally important. Look
Yes.
after yourself.
Yes, and this is why I love the self-care mafia. Lore keepers? Yeah. The term isn't ideal. Yeah. I hear ya.
Yeah, other than that, that's all, I guess. I have nothing specific to add.
Yeah, I used it one time in December and it stuck. Yeah, because I had this vision of this kind of, you know, golden armored, almost angelic figure coming in and going, all right, that's enough destruction. Yeah. Y'all are more like librarians. Yeah, librarians with swords. Conan the librarian. That's what they are. That's awesome. Okay, before we all take off here, I have something to show you all. Right? Next weekend, the special event is going to be, it's a charity event to raise money for bunny rescues. A bunch of House Lappin members will each be championing a bunny. We will compete against one another for the highest word count. At the end of the day, the one with the highest word count wins 50% of whatever you guys donate for the bunny rescue that their bunny represents. And the remaining 50% of whatever you guys donate will be divided among all of the other participating bunny rescues so that nobody goes without. We're calling it the Fluffle Fight for Fortune, and if I might preview it for you here, I have an amazing video that Coral's producer produced for her to share with us, so I mean, like, epic, right? I was like,
Holy
wow!
crap! Holy crap!
I
I feel
know.
chills just watching.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, yes! This is going to be so much fun. Guys, if you'd like a preview of the bunnies and their rescues that we are representing, they are here. Not all of them have been selected yet, but many of them have. I will share the links so you can check out their character sheets. They all have character classes. Yeah. How do I add that to my stream? You download it from the link I shared with you, right? In the House Lappin channel, right? And then you install it on your computer and use it as a scene on your stream. That's how I do all the videos. Yeah, so those are the different bunnies. The ones who have been claimed, I can give you so far. Right, I got to find my own damn server. Holy crap, y'all have been chatty. I promise I will catch up as soon as I can, but I have to run out and do errands before I can look at all your messages. I promise you I will when I get back, though. Okay, House Lappin channel. So I can find the pinned message that has the list. All right, so I will be championing Smudge, the retired assassin. Pride will be representing Lumi, the ranger. Sunny will be representing Paxton, the cleric. Guinevere will be representing Merlin, the sorcerer. Atoru will represent Muffin Top, the warrior. And Coral will represent Morgan, the monk. I think there are 3 that have not yet been chosen. I hope they all will be. If not, we'll be looking for help outside of House Lappin', but we'll give people a few days to respond first to see if we can make this an all bunnies all the time thing. Yeah, such a
I may
cute.
be biased. I may be biased, but I can tell Muffin Top will win.
It's amazing, eh? Yeah, there's. I think they're on screen. They're on screen. Okay, yes. So this is Lumi, the ranger. There's like all kinds of little details I'm not going to go into now, but read the bios. They're awesome. This is Merlin the sorcerer. This is Morgan the monk. Very fluffy. This is Ron Burgrunty. He is a bard. He has not yet been picked. This is Paxton the cleric. This is Smudge the retired assassin. I think she's adorable. This is Muffin Top the warrior.
Yeah, that's my baby.
She's a big boy, or big girl, rather. And this is Varna the rogue. She has not been picked yet either. So, aren't they amazingly cute? They're just, bunnies are the greatest. So, I'm very happy to be doing something to, try to help out bunny rescues, because I just think it's amazing. So, yeah. Ron Burgrunty. Oh my gosh, yes, I know, what a name, right? I was just looking at the retired assassins as Fantasine. Yeah. Oh, and a rogue. Yes, a rogue. The rogue has not yet been claimed, Fantasine. Are you claiming Varna? I will put it in the list. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to edit that, you silly thing. Okay. Has the ranger been claimed? Yes, Lumi the ranger has been claimed. I would love to support a rogue, says Fantasine. My whole channel is built around thieves. Done. Fantasine will be representing Varna the rogue. And luckily for me, this corresponds or coincides with the void plan, says Sunny. So hopefully we'll see everyone with us. Awesome. Yeah, the only two open now are oh, the only two open were the bard and the rogue. Okay. Cool. All right. So now we only have our bard who is unclaimed. Poor Ron Burgrunty. He's so cute though. I'm sure someone will claim him. He's amazing, so. Yes, announcement for Void stuff coming later today. Just getting a graphic. Awesome. How are people passing on that poor baby? I know, they're all so adorable. That's how. I picked Smudge because I thought, yeah, I'm one of the older people in the group here, and us older ladies got to stick together, right? And she's a senior rabbit who's kind of had a hard life. I'm like, yep, I'm coming, babe. I'm not done yet. Just a sec. Okay. And with that, I have to go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for agreeing to do this with me, Chris. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem. I don't mind staying up a bit late.
Yeah, a bit late. It's like, what, almost 4 a.m. for you?
Almost 5 a.m.
Oh my god. A bit late. Okay, that's
fine.
my a bit late. That's my a bit late.
Stupid o'clock.
Yeah, stupid o'clock. Yeah. All right, so who's up that we can raid? Let's have a look at who's on the calendar currently. Oh, and I didn't put this in the... And I promised I would put this on the schedule. Did I do it? No. So, I'm sorry. Oh, Haley's up. Okay, we will raid Haley then. All right. more details on the Fluffle Fight for Fortune will be announced on the results stream next Friday. We're still hammering out times and details, but the idea is at some point we're going to start here. We're going to do a launch. Then we're going to raid into a bunch of Lapin owned channels, not all of which are reporting streams, but, just Lapins who are volunteering to stream. Oh, Haley isn't live at the moment? Okay. Well, who's up? Just Pride? If so, of course, we'll raid Pride. So yeah, that's the idea. But if the event is currently being hosted, the Fluffle Fight for Fortune, if an event is currently being hosted by somebody who is not a reporting stream, report in Pride stream. That's the plan. Rowan is up, Wolfkeeper's up, and Pride. Okay. Cool. Well, that's a few people. You know what? Let's raid. I want to raid Pride, but let's raid Rowan because Rowan is, not usually up in a spot where I can raid her. Oh, she isn't a reporting stream? Yeah, she is. She should be.
Yeah, she's on the GOT site.
I'm looking forward to the Void announcement, whatever that may be. Sounds like fun. Okay, yeah, she's a reporting stream. So we will go and raid Rowan just because I rarely get the chance to. But of course, also stop in with Pride anytime. Sorry, I'm just using my layout here. I didn't have time to prepare, but I thought it's appropriate because it's, Easter and I all the eggs and stuff. So, all right, and I might see you guys tonight over for the Toy Soldiers game, and if not, I will see you Tuesday evening. And when are you streaming next, Chris?
Hopefully at 12 a.m. my time. At 19, yeah. Should
Okay.
be middle of the night.
Okay. Right, so tomorrow kind of thing I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where you can find Chrysalia. And you can find me at twitch.tv/Sable Aradia if you don't know, because this isn't my channel. All right. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Happy Avisalia, happy Easter, or whatever traditions you celebrate IRL. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everyone.